Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Today, I want to talk about the weapon balancing patch that was just released for Call of Duty World War II. Starting off with the positives, because there are a lot of positives here. The LMGs got buffed. All of them got a little bit of a speed increase, and I believe the Lewis and the MG15 got reduced recoil. And I have used the MG15 and a little bit of the Lewis since the patch, and they are really good. I actually kind of liked both of those weapons before the patch, but this makes them that much better. I really like that change. In addition to other changes I like, I absolutely love the new MP40. It's not like spectacular, it's not overpowered, but it is very consistent, and that's something that definitely was not the case before. I believe before this patch, all of the SMGs really could have used a little bit more range and a little bit more competitive either rate of fire or damage within the SMG ranges, because as it stands, sort of now even, the SMGs compete with assault rifles in SMG ranges, but I believe they need to dominate in SMG ranges. They're not underpowered necessarily. I won't do a whole video on it, but I feel like they are weaker than they should be, and this patch to the Thompson, I just prestige, so I don't have the Thompson, but I do have the MP40, and that definitely made it a whole lot better and a whole lot more consistent. Next thing that I liked, I do absolutely love the fact that they did buff the combat shotgun. I feel like that was somewhat necessary. You know, the combat shotgun, while it wasn't the shotgun that needed the buff the most, it did need some sort of consistency. It did need more consistent kills at more consistent ranges, and that is definitely what we have now. I used it today. It doesn't feel overpowered really at all. It just feels like a typical pump action shotgun should. But that transitions us into what I dislike about the patch, because when you take a look at all of the shotguns that we have available to us, there are 2 out of the 4. There's a half of the shotguns that are absolutely awful, completely laughable, and they need the attention first. They need to be fixed first, and it's puzzling to me as to why they would buff the combat shotgun. Maybe it was just easier to buff the combat shotgun, so it was easy just to throw in there and whatever, and they're going to do more stuff. They have to like increase ranges, increase damages, maybe change some of how the shotguns work. But I truly think the double barrel and the sawed-off shotgun needed attention, and it is very concerning that they're putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, because they're absolutely terrible weapons. That leads us to the machine pistol and the FG42. Now, the FG42 got a huge nerf to its rate of fire, by a huge percent actually, and it's very noticeable, and it's very puzzling to me as to why that's the case. In addition to that, the machine pistol got reduced damage, I believe it is, and I just don't understand why. In fact, that might be a lie. I think I do understand why, because Call of Duty World League, I think that's what it is, in Dallas just happened, and a whole bunch of competitive players only used the FG42 and the machine pistol. Also the PPSH, which is why I'm surprised that didn't get a nerf, but I think the developers were watching this and saw, oh man, everyone uses the machine pistol, everyone uses the FG42, they obviously are the most powerful things, and we need to nerf them. I honestly didn't think that was the case, especially with the machine pistol. I would use my machine pistol as a backup and still get a ton of hit markers within that medium close range. It's definitely not supposed to be a primary, but it was definitely not as strong as one, and another nerf I just feel was completely unnecessary. And with the FG42, before the patch, you know, I felt like the rate of fire was already slow. You had to be accurate, and it had a decent amount of recoil to where if you did get 3 shots on target rather quickly, that was your skill, and that wasn't really the weapon being overpowered. I do want to do a separate video talking about competitive players versus regular pub players and the influences they have, but the shorthand is, I really dislike the fact, greatly dislike the fact, that the developers will pay special attention to the competitive players and adjust the game accordingly to them. Currently, as of right now, I cannot think of any weapon in the game any weapons in the game that are overpowered, overused, or too easy. I do believe quickscoping needs to be just tweaked just a little bit, but that doesn't make the weapons themselves overpowered. However, I do see a large handful of weapons that need to be buffed and made better. The SVT is garbage. Really most of the semi-automatic rifles could use a little bit of a buff. I still believe maybe the Type 100 and even the SMGs could use a little bit of a buff, and that brings up sprint out times that they need to change. It's not really weapon balancing, but that's definitely something that needs to be looked at. And like I mentioned, the shotguns from earlier as well need a huge buff. So hopefully from now on, we will really stop seeing any nerfs, and we should start seeing more and more buffs to weapons, making them better, making them more fun to use, because using LMGs, not for the first time, but seeing how good they are, was genuinely fun. I like weapons that are fun to use, like good to use, as well as balanced, and I feel like we're creeping ever so closer to that in World War II, and I'm really happy about that. So this is a step in the right direction, but also some weird missteps in places. I don't feel like it's too crippling to the FG-42, I don't feel like it's too underpowered now. I just feel like it was an unnecessary nerf, but we'll work with it. But anyway, that's all I've got time for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next absolutely beautiful Call of Duty morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, stay beautiful.
We couldn't get it done. Crowd reinforcements arrived to protect the AA guns.